Hello everybody, I'm Ham and you watch. Welcome to Ham and Watch. And today a bit of a special video, a different kind of video. From now on I will actually review games in a bunch. I did lots of video games recently and I thought I would give very short reviews, very short snippets with a rating, with my quick thoughts on it. So I don't know how many games it will be, but each time it might be different. So let's just start. So the first game I will review today is Crash Bandicoot Trilogy. I'm going to review the three games all together, right? Crash Bandicoot 1, 2 and 3. Disclaimer here, I did not finish the games. They are quite long and very hard if you want to finish with all the boxes. Crash Bandicoot is a very simple recipe of platforming. It's in 2.5D, not necessarily 3D like nowadays, but it's like horizontal, vertical. You jump, you do some actions, you break crates in a very Mario style. If you've never played that, it might sound a bit too simple for you, but if you are interested, I think this is a very good historical piece of gaming. The graphics of this trilogy are very good. I think it doesn't feel like you're playing a game from the very first PlayStation, so I think it's really good looking. It's very cartoony, very silly. The music in Crash Bandicoot is fine. It's very easy listening. It just blends in the background. Nothing noteworthy here. What is the most important in Crash Bandicoot is the gameplay. So it's a very demanding platforming, very sometimes clunky, but also very hardcore platform. Kids can play it in a very easy way, but it will be hard to manage to get everything 100%, all the crates and all that, like in typical old school retro platforming way. I give Crash Bandicoot Trilogy 85%, which is a B+. It's a very good game. It's a very good series of games. But overall, there is like hundreds of hours of gameplay in the trilogy. If you were to get the whole trilogy and play the 3 games in a row, it would take you weeks and weeks of game time, especially if you try to get everything. This is the type of game that can take you like weeks and months to get everything, especially if you are a very collector kind of gamer. There's tons of content here. Next in the line we have Tempest Rising. Tempest Rising is a RTS game that came out recently and that is working very well, and it's a good game. Basically, Tempest Rising is trying to emulate the old recipe of RTS games such as StarCraft, Command & Conquer and such. It's even an actual tribute to Command & Conquer. So if you've played games like Command & Conquer back in the day, it's trying to do the same thing. Strategy, lots of units, over-the-top humor, although there's not so much humor in here, but it's mostly the theme that feels very Command & Conquer-ish. If you've never played an RTS, you basically control units on the map, seen from above. You move and click and try to build some units, try to build some buildings and attack the enemy. It's very tactical, very strategical. It's a very old school genre that is not very known or not very good anymore, sadly, but a few games try to do that and very few manage, and I think Tempest Rising managed that very well. The music in Tempest Rising is very metal, heavy metal. It can be quite annoying, but also it's very well done, so that's very action-oriented music. The graphics look very cool. If you look at this, it feels like you're playing a game from back in the day, but with very updated graphics. It looks very pretty. There is a story in there with lots of dialogues. They're absolutely nonsensical. I didn't quite get the story. I didn't care for it. It was very abstract and very over the top. Most of the fun in a game like Tempest Rising is just to build buildings, make your base, create units, explore the map, conquer, attack your enemy and such, and obviously discover the story and the missions. If you don't know RTS, you could go back in the past and pick a very classic game such as StarCraft and such, but if you want to play something that just came out recently and you want to pick a good one, I think Tempest Rising does that extremely well. For me, that's an 81%. That's a B+. Disclaimer, I did not finish it because the game is pretty long and also pretty hard. I was surprised actually. Back in the day, StarCraft and such were hard games, even if you play normal, and Tempest Rising is also hard. There's 2 campaigns and there's lots of content in there. You can definitely have loads of fun with lots of dialogues, lots of story in there. Not as good as StarCraft, sadly. I think it's not as well written, but is the actual lore that has been made. There's been a lot of effort put into this. So yeah, definitely a very good game. That's an 81% B+ for me. Next, we have Cyberpunk 2077. So Cyberpunk is a game that came out several years ago already, but I thought I would review it because I recently finished it. Cyberpunk is a FPS game set in a very futuristic world. So if you like FPS games, if you like very futuristic settings such as Blade Runner, Fifth Element and such, this is the perfect game for you. The funny thing with Cyberpunk is when it came out there was a lot of bad press on it because it did nonsense, it hyped the game too much, it was full of bugs, it was flawed. Nowadays the game is totally fine. You can totally play this and enjoy it for hundreds of hours without any real trouble. If you remember games like The Witcher, made by the same company, it was also very clunky. There were lots of little bugs in this trilogy back in the day, but then they polished it. It's the same here with Cyberpunk. It is now very polished, but you can still feel some little bugs here, little clunky stuff. If you've played games like Deus Ex and such, if you like the idea of a huge RPG set in this cyberpunk theme, you will have a blast. Cyberpunk is all about the immersion. Video-wise, it is very pretty. It's a big city. It is very rich to explore. If you like games like GTA, it's exactly like that. You've got a huge city to explore with lots of stuff to do, lots of missions, lots of sub-quests, lots of characters and lots of dialogues. There is a very interesting story set in there that is very reminiscent of movies. The music in Cyberpunk is huge. Imagine a game like GTA 5, there's tons of licensed music in there that you can enjoy for every taste. The gameplay is very rich. It is based on an actual tabletop RPG, so there's tons of stuff to improve your character, choose your own path and such, although it doesn't feel that different overall. All throughout my run of Cyberpunk, I felt a bit perplexed because sometimes it is great, there's some great moments really that would rate the game top. And at the same time, lots of moments were just like, man, very junk movie-ish, lots of bugs. There's a lot of illusion of being huge while being very repetitive in the background. There's still tons to explore, there's a huge DLC. So overall, I'm going to give Cyberpunk an 88%. It's an A-. It's a great game. It just misses the mark to be an excellent game. Don't get me wrong though, at the end of the day, this is a game that lots of people will consider as a masterpiece. And I think in a way they're right, because if you want to play one big RPG in a Cyberpunk world, there's not that many, and this is definitely one of the ones you should play. Next in the list we have Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. I really like this game. Prince of Persia is a series that came out a long time ago, right? It's been almost 40 years or something of video games in this series. It's a huge series that I always had interest in. The series went many directions over the time with lots of 3D platforming adventure games. But this one goes back to the old roots of being a scrolling 2D, 2.5D Metroidvania type of adventure. And that's why I think I really loved it. This is one of my favorite genres and I was not disappointed. Visually, Prince of Persia Lost Crown is excellent. It looks beautiful, very colorful, very modern. Some people will say it looks a bit too much like a portable console game, but I thought it was just fine. The audio is fine, the musics are between non-existent and very pleasant. The most important part of this game is obviously the gameplay. It's a Metroidvania. You have tons and tons of rooms and corridors to explore. You've got lots of platforming to do, lots of enemies to bash. It is quite demanding. It is not an easy one. It's more on the Hollow Knight and such type of gameplay. Recently, all the Metroidvanias became much harder than before, and I think that's a good thing. You've got loads to explore, and I'm pretty sure you can change the difficulty if you think the game is too hard. There is lots of content in terms also of story. There's a lot of story in there. I was actually surprised. The story was good. I thought it would be very secondary, like in most of Metroidvania games, but it was good. They worked on it. It's very interesting. I wouldn't say it's excellent, but there were lots of dialogues and characters and plot twists. You're like, oh, that's actually surprising. So it's pretty decent. I remember games from this series like Sense of Time where the story was just fine. This one is definitely good. Overall, there's like 100 hours of content, especially if you want to collect everything. There's tons of stuff to unlock, there's a lot to explore, and there's even additional challenges if you are a hardcore gamer. Overall, I give Prince of Persia Lost Crown an A, 92%. It's an excellent game. It's an excellent game if you like this type of game, Metroidvania, of jumping and exploring and action and all that in a 2.5D style of camera. I really love it. Excellent game. Next we have CRYPTMASTER. CRYPTMASTER is an indie game that came out recently. I don't think a lot of people know this game, and I think it's a shame. I think it's a shame because there's a lot of good stuff in there. It is not an excellent game. It's very limited in content, and at the same time, when you think it's been made by mostly one guy, it is very impressive. CRYPTMASTER is a game of typing, but not like the usual typing games, you know, where you're supposed to go very fast and all that. It's more about exploring a dungeon. It's a dungeon crawler, and finding words, understanding the object around you. There's a lot of mini games in there, but it's mostly a dungeon crawler. And so basically you proceed in dungeons in a very orthogonal way, you know, forward and directions and all that. You explore big dungeons, and you've got your party of 4 characters, and you are doing the usual dungeon crawler actions such as moving forward, attacking, using magic, healing and all that, but with words, right? And everything has to be remembered. Also, there's a list that you can check, but you have to remember how to attack, and it won't just be attack. It might be the word punch, it might be the word hit, it might be the word jab, and so it's all based on words. So if you like the idea of a very peculiar looking game that is reminiscent of all these early 90s dungeon crawler, but mixed with I don't know, Wordle. It's basically a word game, right? And you want to find letters and collect letters and get experience by collecting more letters and all that. You can have lots of fun with this game. At the end of the day, CRYPTMASTER is not hugely replayable, right? Lots of the level design of the content is quite limited, but there was some good humor in it. Video wise, I think the game looks very pretty. It looks like it's been illustrated with a pencil. The music is excellent in this game, lots of very good songs in it. It's overall the gameplay and the content that make you stick to this game or not. If you hate the idea of finding letters and finding words and playing with your mind like that, this game is not going to be for you. If you love the idea, I don't think this game is going to be 100% either for you, right? There's lots of things that are a bit annoying and tedious in this game. It's quite repetitive, but I was very happy with my playtime. Overall, I give CRYPTMASTER an 80%. It's a B+. It's a good game. I think it's definitely worth a try if you are interested. There's a lot in it, and I'm very impatient to see what this new developer will make in the future, because I think it's a very unique ideas.